Which organ is responsible for vision?
Eye.
Which part of the eye controls the amount of light entering?
Iris.
Which opening allows light to enter the eye?
Pupil.
Which transparent structure covers the front of the eye?
Cornea.
Which part of the eye focuses light on the retina?
Lens.
Where is the image formed in the eye?
Retina.
What type of image is formed on the retina?
Real and inverted.
Which cells detect dim light?
Rods.
Which cells are responsible for color vision?
Combs.
Which part of the retina has the sharpest vision?
Yellow spot.
Which point on the retina lacks photoreceptors?
Blind spot.
Which nerve carries visual impulses to the brain?
Optic nerve.
Which layer gives the eyeball its white appearance?
Sclera.
Which layer of the eye contains blood vessels?
Choroid.
Which fluid fills the space between the cornea and lens?
Aqueous humor.
Which substance fills the space behind the lens?
Vitreous humor.
Which muscles change the shape of the eye lens?
Ciliary muscles.
What is the adjustment of the lens for clear vision called?
Accommodation.
Which structure changes pupil size?
Iris.
Which pigment is present in rod cells?
Rhodopsin.
Which vitamin is essential for normal vision?
Vitamin A.
Deficiency of which vitamin causes night blindness?
Vitamin A.
Which photoreceptors function best in bright light?
Combs.
Which photoreceptors are most sensitive in darkness?
Rods.
Which part of the brain primarily processes visual information?
Occipital lobe.
Which organ is responsible for hearing?
Ear.
How many main parts does the human ear have?
3.
Which part collects sound waves?
Pinna.
Which passage carries sound to the eardrum?
Auditory canal.
Which membrane vibrates when sound waves strike it?
Tympanic membrane.
What is another name for the eardrum?
Tympanic membrane.
Which are the three bones of the middle ear?
Malleus incus stapes.
Which is the smallest bone in the human body?
Stapes.
Which middle ear bone is attached to the eardrum?
Malleus.
Which middle ear bone is attached to the oval window?
Stapes.
Which tube connects the middle ear to the throat?
Eustachian tube.
What is the main function of the Eustachian tube?
Equalize air pressure.
Which structure is responsible for hearing in the inner ear?
Cochlea.
What is the shape of the cochlea?
Spiral.
Which sensory organ is located inside the cochlea?
Organ of Corti.
Which cells in the cochlea detect sound vibrations?
Hair cells.
Which nerve carries hearing impulses to the brain?
Auditory nerve.
Which structures help maintain body balance?
Semicircular canals.
How many semicircular canals are present in each inner ear?
3.
Which fluid is present in the membranous labyrinth?
Endolymph.
Which structures detect rotational movements of the head?
Semicircular canals.
Which structures detect linear acceleration and head position?
Utricle and saccule.
Which part of the ear converts vibrations into nerve impulses?
Cochlea.
Which brain region helps coordinate balance?
Cerebellum.
Which system includes the organs responsible for balance?
Vestibular system.
Which organ is primarily responsible for smell?
Nose.
Which receptors detect smell?
Olfactory receptors.
Where are olfactory receptors located?
Nasal cavity.
Which nerve carries smell impulses to the brain?
Olfactory nerve.
What is the sense of smell called?
Olfaction.
Which organ is primarily responsible for taste?
Tongue.
Which structures contain taste receptor cells?
Taste buds.
What is the sense of taste called?
Gustation.
Which taste is associated with sugars?
Sweet.
Which taste is associated with acids?
Sour.
Which taste is associated with sodium salts?
Salty.
Which taste often helps detect potentially harmful substances?
Bitter.
Which taste is associated with amino acids such as glutamate?
Umami.
Which sense strongly contributes to the perception of flavor?
Smell.
Which is the largest sense organ of the human body?
Skin.
Which receptors detect touch and pressure?
Mechanoreceptors.
Which receptors detect changes in temperature?
Thermoreceptors.
Which receptors detect painful stimuli?
Nociceptors.
Which skin layer contains many sensory receptors?
Dermis.
Which receptors detect chemicals?
Chemoreceptors.
Which receptors detect light?
Photoreceptors.
Which receptors detect mechanical stimuli?
Mechanoreceptors.
Which sensory receptors are found in muscles and joints?
Proprioceptors.
Which sense helps identify the position of body parts?
Proprioception.
Which organ contains receptors for touch, temperature, and pain?
Skin.
Which defect causes difficulty seeing distant objects?
Myopia.
Which lens corrects myopia?
Concave lens.
Which defect causes difficulty seeing nearby objects?
Hypermetropia.
Which lens corrects hypermetropia?
Convex lens.
Which age-related defect affects near vision?
Presbyopia.
Which lenses are commonly used to correct presbyopia?
Bifocal lenses.
Which defect results from uneven curvature of the cornea?
Astigmatism.
Which lens is commonly used to correct astigmatism?
Cylindrical lens.
Which condition causes clouding of the eye lens?
Cataract.
Which condition is commonly associated with increased eye pressure?
Glaucoma.
Which disorder affects the ability to distinguish certain colors?
Color blindness.
Which cells are affected in color blindness?
Cone cells.
Which condition is commonly caused by vitamin A deficiency?
Night blindness.
Which condition involves partial or complete loss of hearing?
Deafness.
Which device can improve hearing in some people?
Hearing aid.
Which device can help some people with severe hearing loss?
Cochlear implant.
Which condition is the loss of the sense of smell?
Anosmia.
Which condition is the loss of the sense of taste?
Ageusia.
Which condition involves ringing in the ears?
Tinnitus.
Which part of the eye contains rods and cones?
Retina.
Which part of the ear contains the organ of Corti?
Cochlea.
Which structure maintains balance during head rotation?
Semicircular canals.
Which sense organ detects chemical substances in air?
Nose.
Which sense organ contains taste buds?
Tongue.
Which sense organ detects touch, pressure, temperature, and pain?
Skin.